Hey guys, welcome to a very special Christmas review. Is it Bro Teacher's Noob? I don't know, I haven't decided yet because my special guest, Tristan.
I love this book. One of the,
Exactly.
if it, the best graphic novel for holiday times by DC
Exactly.
you'll get.
Exactly. Lieber Mayhew, writing and artwork. And okay, apparently Tristan didn't see this before, but other people have when I've talked to about this. Look at Batman here. Doesn't he look constipated?
I mean, I see it now, but I also see him like getting ready to go, like he's ready to beat somebody up, maybe.
Yeah, but let's be honest. It almost looks like he's like,
Yeah, he's pushing pretty hard there, guys.
but the artwork, like always, from Lieber Mayhew is gorgeous.
Incredible.
Just on this cover alone. But yeah, it's basically a Christmas Carol. And I love this. Yes, I'm going to be reading through this. Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Yep. Okay. You want me to tell you a story? I gotta be honest. I'm not so good at it. And hold on, I just realized they had it on the wrong window. Because I always don't like when I'm looking out to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. There we go. Gotta be honest, I'm not so good at it. My dad could spin a yarn. He could suck you in right from the beginning like any good storyteller. And keep you stuck to your seat, hook, line, and sinker. Yep, Dad was probably better at telling stories than anything else. Just ask my mom. Me, I'm better with my hands. This story, it's a doozy. I remember Dad told it to me one Christmas. He was pretty sauced at first, and at first I thought he was making it up as he went along, but in the end, it all made sense. Let me tell you, some weird stuff happens in this story. You may find it and some of it hard to swallow. First thing, though, you got to tell me something, because for this
That's
story,
what she said. Sorry, I had to.
I don't mind. I don't mind. Because for me, this story, because for this story to make sense, for it to mean anything, you have to believe it's something very important. You have to believe people can change. Whoomp. And I'm talking change in a positive way, change for the better. I'm talking about the idea that a person can take years of programming and habit and turn them on their ass. That when the deck is stacked against him, he can get that and get the stones to overcome. He might be difficult. It might be difficult for you to understand. You're just a kid. In life, as people get older, they get set in their ways. Most people never change. It's too scary, like starting off the edge of a cliff and staring off the edge of a cliff. Most people just can't make the leap. Some people want to change desperately, but the deck is stacked too high against them. Take Bob, for example. If he could, all Bob here would change almost everything about his life. This Bob, he's a stand up kind of fella. Trouble is, he's been down on his luck since, like, forever, and has a family to take care of, a sick little boy. His job, well, let's just say it ain't exactly the stuff of dreams. A dead end job in a dead end town. And his boss, don't even get me started on that guy. The definition of cutthroat, a cruel abomination of a man who only cared about money and nothing else. People would whisper his name, almost afraid to say it out loud. What the hell did he call himself? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, Bob was desperate. The medical bills were stacking up, and the economy in the toilet, getting work someplace else wasn't exactly an option. Even if it meant doing a job he didn't really like for a guy he liked even less. Man, I can't believe I don't remember this guy's name. It was like a sound effect or something. When Dad first told me, I just thought he was slurring. Oh yeah, that's right. Guy's name was Scrooge. What a name, huh? Anyway, like I said, this Scrooge guy didn't care about anyone. He didn't even want to give Bob Christmas off to spend with his kid. Chunk. The, the Scrooge giving him the day off was like letting him get away with a crime. All right, let's talk for a second about this Scrooge dude. We all know by now he's a mean old bastard, but we don't know is how cunning he can be. You don't get to be in the position Scrooge was in by being a dummy. It wasn't just that people were scared of him, and believe me, they were. It was that people trusted in him, like all and always being 5 steps ahead of the game. Once he saw what he wanted, there wasn't much that could stop him. Man, look at that.
It is so gorgeous. Even though I read this every single year, opening it up
Mm-hmm.
is still some like because I don't get me wrong, I like Lieber Mayhew. I don't really go back to his like Joker graphic novel
Me neither.
and stuff like that. This is the one I always go back to, and I'm still impressed
It's
every
timeless.
single time.
It's
It
timeless.
is.
It's not like it's set in any time period or anything like that. It's set in its own little time period.
And he does enough of the original Christmas Carol, but changes it enough to make it
Oh yeah, it's kind of like
perfect.
it's kind of like Christmas Carol, a hint of Christmas Carol and a hint of Scrooged.
See, I don't know what Scrooged is.
Scrooge was the Bill Murray movie where basically they teach Scrooged like a verb, where someone gets through the Christmas Carol stuff, but he's not Scrooge. He's Scrooge like, but he's not Scrooge.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you got Scrooged. Get it?
Yes, totally.
It's saying Scrooged instead of Christmas Caroled.
Yes, I love it.
Yep. So it's a bit of hint like that because Batman clearly isn't Scrooge, but he is like Scrooge.
Right.
Bob didn't want to argue with the guy, but he made a promise to his son they'd spend Christmas Day together. Scrooge, however, wouldn't budge about the time off. He had other plans. Christmas was just another day. Another day, another dollar. Ooh. Sure, Bob needed money, but it wasn't the most important thing in his life. He may have been down on his luck, but ultimately his son was more important to him than anything else. Please don't. I got a kid. Don't hurt me. You have one chance. You're going to tell me where he is. You won't lie if you want to walk out of here. But I don't. I mean, he never tell me. I just got a note. I never even met with him. I swear. Oh Christ! I swear to God. All I was supposed to do was drop off the bag and pick up the money. How and how is he going to contact you to pick up the money? He was going to send me another note with instructions. Look, please don't. You won't be getting another note. He'll find out that you don't have his money and come to collect in spades. Jesus, please, just as scum, you never cease to amaze me. Do you have any idea what it was and what was in that bag you delivered? You should be going to jail tonight. Consider yourself lucky that you make a better piece of. Oh, sorry. Consider yourself lucky that you make a better piece of live bait than jail bait. I am convinced this is Batman right after Jason's death.
I can see that because this is a very
Losing his morals, Batman.
yeah, like he's on the gray line, but it's starting to get pretty black.
Because the fact that he's willing to say, like, yeah, I'm going to stop this guy so Joker will come after him in retaliation, that's not Batman-like.
Yes, exactly. He's using him as a human shield almost.
Yep, or he said live bait.
Yep.
But I will say this. One thing that was kind of funny that me and Pika Shades realized is, did you know that the gap between Jason and Tim was actually around a year? Barely?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
yeah, because that always bothered Jason because it was so quick.
Well, that was more in Arkham Knight, but the fact that so many people actually thought it was a lot longer, when in actuality it was a few real-world months, and the majority of those months were taken up by year 3 and Lonely Place of Dying.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't very long.
Yeah, well, I always thought it was at least a year, not months.
Yeah, I can see that. No, I knew it wasn't that long.
Yeah, but I always felt in universe it was longer.
That makes you would think it would be, but no. Batman was like, "I'm good. I'm moving along."
Even though but at the same time, you needed him to get into that dark place for Tim to say, "You're losing your way."
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Bob, being the good guy that he was, considered himself lucky for a guy down on his luck. Long story short, he managed to convince Scrooge to give him the day off, insurance issues or something. There was one condition. He would have to come to work at the crack of dawn the day after Christmas and be ready to work his ass off. Now, Bob may have been a bit of a may have had a bit of dumb luck from time to time, but stupid he was not. He knew that the miserable old Scrooge would make him pay for letting him get away with taking a holiday. See, old Scroogey was vindictive like that. No good deed goes unpunished and all that jazz. Bob was afraid of him, no doubt about that. Was a time he would have just quit. That was before the kids, though. He had responsibilities now, stuff you can't just run away from. Seemed like everyone and everything constantly reminded Bob of how limited his options were. The thought followed him like a dog tracking his scent, and the dog was big and scary. Yeah, I get it. Like he's being tracked because he's being tracked.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Because it's all like, oh, he convinced him to let him go. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch with what happened with Batman.
What do you mean?
No. Obviously, he's using the tail, but it's not like Bob convinced him to let him go. Batman
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's a bit of a stretch. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he convinced him to let him go. It's like, that's one of the points where he's more telling the story of Christmas Carol than what Batman did.
Yeah, but he was begging, so I mean.
That's true. Fear is a funny thing, though. Some guys can get so scared that they let the fear stop them in their tracks. It's like a thick wall keeping them from where they want to go. Other guys, well, they break through. They let the fear drive them, which Batman definitely does. Scrooge was this kind of fellow. Nothing and no one has ever stopped him. He had forgotten what it was like to want. Another joke goes right over your head. Too slow, old man. And now, our buddy Bob was the master of want. He would have given almost anything to be the fearless type. He wished he could be a tough guy, someone who took the bull by the horns and all that brass, the kind of man who makes things happen instead of waiting for them to fall in his lap. Big house, fancy car, you know what I'm talking about. Truth be told, Bob was never much of a winner. He lived in a crappy little ramshackle apartment in a crappier neighborhood. This one-bedroom shoebox had a broken toilet and bad heating, but it was a warm place. That was probably because of little Timmy. Aww.
I love it. He's so sweet.
Yep. Tim had a bum leg. I'm not quite sure exactly what was wrong with him, but his health wasn't all that great. He was a big ray of sunshine, though. A real good kid. The kind of kid that made you, well, let's just say it sucks that he was bad off. The Cratchit family, see, weren't the type to complain about their position in life. They didn't have much, but what they did have was appreciated. Dad! Love, you know. There was a lot of love there. Oh Jesus, God, oh God, oh Jesus. Check it out. I made it myself. I had to take the plant from Mrs. Catrock's porch, but it was dying anyway, and she said I could have it. And besides, it looked cooler like this, huh? Don't you think? See, I made this ornament out of an old soup can and some piece of beer bottles. Plus, I had that old army man and just stuck a string on his head so he could. Tim, damn it, not right now, okay? Ah, jeez. Hey, buddy, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to snap at you like that. Just a hell of a day, that's all. Come on over and show me that thing you've got here. It's not a thing. It's our Christmas tree, Dad.
That lip on the top panel is so sad. I love it. It's so well done, but it's so sweet.
It is. Yeah, sure. I knew that. That's what I meant. See, I found other stuff by the dumpster. I was trying to make it look like those ornaments you see in the stores on Fifth. I thought it would be cool to draw the Superman emblem on the Army Man because he didn't seem very Christmassy. And Superman is very more like Santa, you know, with the red colors and all. I also thought it'd be cool to have a Batman singing on there too, because Bobby Mills has a Batman decoration in his tree that's Why the hell would you want Batman on a Christmas tree? I mean, Batman is exactly Christmassy either, you know? I mean, he could be scary dressed all in black. But I thought Batman was one of the good guys. Bobby Mills says he only hurts people that done something bad. I mean, I guess maybe things ain't always that black and white. Sometimes even good people do bad things. A lot of love in the Cratchit house, but not a lot of anything else. The Scrooge guy, on the other hand, he had everything: big house, fancy cars, power. The guy had more money than he knew what to do with. His place was dark and damp, as dingy, dim, and empty as his heart, some might say. He liked it that way. See, old Scrooge wasn't very good with people. He preferred solitude. Ignored, sir? He had spent most of his life completely obsessed with his work. There wasn't time for anyone else. Other people just seemed to be a nuisance. May I hazard a guess and say you caused something of a cold running around outside in the freezing night? Or would this just be too absurd an assumption? I'm not sick, Alfred. It's just the change in temperature and the humidity in the cave. Ah, yes, most certainly it is. After all, impossible for the dark night to get the sniffles. That face on Alfred!
I love these are a couple of my favorite as far as art goes. These are a couple of my favorite pages here.
Oh, agreed, agreed. Master Wayne, your disregard for the privacy of others aside, may I ask what? This one's going to lead me to the Joker. Small fish, but sometimes it's all you need to catch a bigger one. Small fish indeed. This one has a child. Do you honestly intend to put at risk? They all have children, Alfred. The father's just another criminal degenerate, bagman for the Joker, and not a very good one at that. Just left the money behind and ran. Cowardly, the lot of them. The clown isn't the type to let lost money go without something coming back to settle his debts. And just what do you intend to do? Wait for the man to make a house call? It's the most promising lead I've got in this war, Alfred. There are risks you must be willing to take. I take the same risk every time I let someone like this go. I take the risk that he will raise his child to be exactly like him. I take the risk that in 10 years this boy will be walking the streets with colors and a gun in his belt. I risk the future while they risk only the present. I, I know only too well, Master Bruce, lest you forget there was another boy whose future was risked on my watch. Ah,
Yep. These
I'll,
pages are so good.
they are. I'll take the liberty of bringing down some cold medication with your dinner. Yep, work was all that mattered to Scrooge. His anger and loss had consumed him to the point where human contact was nearly impossible. I say lost because his life hadn't always been like this. He hadn't always been alone. Once he had been a different man. He had shared his passion for work with a partner. He and his partner, they made a good team. He was a younger man then. Life still seemed like it was full of hope, hope for the future, hope for change. Anything seemed possible. Things that would appear ridiculous to old Scroogey now were just roads yet to be taken, yet to be explored and conquered. But that was then, and this was now. Now his partner was long gone, dead and buried for years, and just like Scrooge's youthful optimism. That younger man had been replaced by something harder and darker, something unforgiving and unmerciful. On this particular night, though, old Scroogey had a visitor. Now, some people say that this thing he saw was a spirit of some sort. Others think it was a figment of his imagination, maybe even a little bit of his conscience playing tricks on him. I ain't one to believe in all that superstitious mumbo jumbo. I like to think that what he saw in the dark loneliness of that night was a vision. And this vision looked a hell of a lot like his dead partner, a ghost from his past with a message for the future. He had come to deliver a warning. Did Scrooge continue to live his life as an angry, vengeful, and spiteful man? There would be a price. Every man's got to pay up one day, stand up and be counted for what he's done in life. The bad things you can do because it becomes heavy weights. Scrooge had to change before it was too late. I know. Hang in there. I told you there would be some stuff that was hard to swallow. take it how you want. The point is that whatever Scrooge saw gave him one more warning before disappearing. That night, he would be have three other visitors, ghosts, spirits, visions, whatever you want to call them. Point is, Scrooge didn't know who they were or what they would be, only that apparently they would show him things that would change his life forever. I was going to give you another 2 minutes before heading home. So cold, I can't even light this thing. Any new leads from the toxicology report on the latest victim? None that we haven't already explored in the past. See for yourself if you want. Got something else that might interest you, though. Another tip: a certain cat burglar is supposedly knocking off Sprang's auction house tonight. Christmas Eve auction and big haul. Can't your men handle this? I've got too much on my plate tonight without getting caught up in cat and mouse with her. Or if you forgot that there's a homicidal maniac here still on the loose out there. She claims to have some information that might be useful, and you know she only talks to you. Figured it's worth checking out. Wasted time. She's only interested in playing games. You should really get that cough checked out. Sounds like it's deep. But hey, I'm no doctor. Scrooge thought about the vision he had the entire evening. He couldn't get out of his head. He must have been crazy, he thought. It had all just been his imagination playing tricks on him or something, right? I mean, when you're alone in the dark, the slightest noise or flicker of a shadow across a wall can take strange shapes. Entire conversations with yourself, discussions you could swear were in your head, can echo through the halls of an empty house. Yes, his mind had just gotten away from him for a bit. The holidays, nostalgia, humbug. It would be a night like every other, he thought to himself, Christmas Eve or not. Nonetheless, rest did not come easy that night for the mean old bugger. His mind drifted, thoughts of the past, unfinished business. The clock struck 1. And just like that, his first visitor of the night appeared at his bedside. It was a beautiful girl. How the hell did she get past the alarm system? He thought. A hot chick can get away with anything.
I love it.
Yep. I could hear you breathing up there. Getting old? Or is it just the frosty night air? Selena, I'm not in the mood. But baby, I'm on this earth to put you in the mood. Come on, the only reason I get out of bed every day is you. I went shopping. Don't you want to see what I got? All right, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I will not play games with you tonight. You told Gordon your information regarding the Joker. Where is he? Now that's more like it. Oh boy, just look at this. This Selena's amazing.
I know. It's so well done.
Now, we got a Batman Noel Batman skin for Origins. And too bad we never got one for Arkham City, because I would have loved to see
That would have been
Selena.
so cool.
Yeah, in this outfit.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, how else am I going to get you to come out and play? A girl these days has to bend the truth a bit to get what she wants, especially when her man spends all his time thinking about someone else. Waste of time. Should have known. Gordon is a fool. Wait, where are you going? I mean, don't you need to, arrest me or something? If someone dies tonight, I'm holding you responsible. I'll make sure you go away for a long time. Listen to yourself. What happened to you? Was a time when nothing would have stopped you from catching me. Nothing. You would have pursued me to the end, no matter what was thrown at you. We used to play, remember? It used to be different. You used to be different. Oh, poor Robin.
I love that art, though.
I know. Oh, it was never for fun. Sick people like you think there's some sort of sick people like me? How dare you? You think I'm like those other clowns who run around trying to best you, trying to make a fool of you? I'm nothing like those other ghouls. I'm so much more. That's it. Wow, maybe you are getting old. I didn't mean to. Selena, the only thing getting old is the game. There was something about this girl, something familiar. She reminded him of the man he used to be. Sweeping him out into the night, she showed him people and places he pushed out of his mind long ago. With it came a rush of emotion he had long since forgotten. It was like smelling cotton candy or something, and remembering what it was like to ride the Ferris wheel at the county fair when you were a kid. Remembering your heart pounding before that first kiss. His early in life seemed so full of vigor, full of accomplishment and triumph. A bit into life was a hunger, a need to be the best man he could be. These memories, these feelings, had he really been this person? Had he approached life so differently then? Had he been so different? Young and naive, maybe. That's what the old geezer thought now. Life, uh-oh. There goes the gargoyle. Life isn't really
Yep.
that colorful. Yep, not so full of infinite possibility. He told himself. For Scrooge's life was black and white, all business. There was success. Oh boy, that look on Selena. She's like, oh crap,
Yep.
and failure. Oh, was that thought the first visitor left the old geezer was his past? And thank God, and to think good and hard about his present. Need a hand? Looks like you could use one. Who better for Christmas present than Superman?
I love how well this
He looks like an angel.
yes, this idea this difference between light and dark is done here. The idea that he almost looks like he's glowing.
Exactly. And just like how Selena looked like just bright but not colorful. She looks like the perfect blend.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, the night was far from over though. So see, Scrooge was still expecting two other visitors. The second was big, larger than life, literally. He dressed colorfully too. Kind of ridiculous, Scrooge thought. It was the eyes that were the most troubling. Too deep and kind for a man with such an impressive physical presence. I'm fine. Up past your bedtime, aren't you? From the looks of you, that makes two of us. It's too cold to be out in your condition. Nasty cough you got there. I heard you hacking all the way from Metropolis. Looks like pneumonia or possibly something more serious. I love the way you talk about that, like you know what it means to have it. You Kryptonians get sick so often, right? Leave the medical advice to professionals. Isn't there someone to save somewhere else and somewhere in the world tonight? Yeah, you. Come on, don't be a pain about this, and just let me give you a lift to your car. His hands were large and looked powerful, like they could crush Scrooge's frail body like a walnut shell. But there was something familiar, an odd warmth both from outside and within the giant of the man. One condition: gotta stop to make first. Once again, the old bugger flew out to the night with what could have been some sort of apparition and wondered if he was going crazy. See, this was all too much like a dream to Scrooge. If it was a dream, though, then and why did the heat he feel emanate from the big colorful fellow seem so real? Why are we here? Scrooge had never believed in ghosts, spirits, or anything of the like. He had never considered himself to be a superstitious guy. I'm just checking on some bait. Wanted to see if the fish are biting. And isn't it bad form for a hunter to use parents or children as bait? Justice comes at a price. This one is going to help me reel in the clown. He works for him. No, his feet had always been planted firmly on the ground. Superstition was a weakness of other guys, a weakness he could not afford. Uh, and sooner or later, his employer's going to come to collect. Just a matter of time, and I'll have him. Scrooge's mind didn't want to believe any of this. He knew that emotion couldn't be trusted. Despite being a bit shaken up by the memory of his past, he didn't want to lose sight of the person he'd become. He fought hard to get to where he is in life. If the father involved, he could go to prison or worse. He could, then we only decrease the surplus criminal population. A bit of a stretch for that line.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do about the boy? I'm going to scare him. Scare him so badly he doesn't dare follow in his father's footsteps. The present Scrooge was not weak. I don't think that's the way to go here, Bruce. Again, this does not feel like this is why I feel Batman's so off the deep end here.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely gotten to a place where he's super dark.
Yeah, he would never do this to a kid.
No, not a chance.
Again, this is why I feel this has to be post, like that in between Jason. Now, granted, Joker should be off the board by that point, but still.
Right.
But the big, colorful fellow wasn't about to give up. I think there might be a better way. Let's go. I need to show you something. He knew there was still a chance for old Scroogey to see something he might have stopped looking and for long ago. Sometimes I realize that spending so much time above the world makes me forget that there are millions of people out there living their lives, decent lives. I look down and see, you look down on people, not in the same way you do. Scrooge scoffed. This better be something spectacular. Something spectacular, he thought to himself with a sneer. Look at your people. Take a second and look as hard at your lambs as you do your lions. Sometimes I think that helping people, saving people, can be just as easy as showing them your face, the face of someone exactly like them. Showing them your face is easy when a bullet can bounce off. But the things that Spirit showed him were so real, downright ordinary. These weren't strange visions from the past, but flashes of the present, everyday life. Just look at those images of the happy people.
I know, I love it.
There were even some familiar faces. Hold up. Can't thank you and the missus enough for having me over tonight. Appreciate it, sir. Can't have one of my boys freezing his butts off on duty Christmas Eve without a little cheer in his belly to keep him warm. Besides, seems like a quiet night out there, thank the Lord. So far, so good. Although we did get some Batman sightings, I still don't know what to make of that guy. I mean, I know you trust him at all, but it's not an easy relationship to keep. But there isn't exactly a handbook on how to handle certain elements of our city. I guess he's a necessary evil. No, oh, make no mistake, he's not evil. No, I would say he walks a fine line. It's just that sometimes he steps on the side of that line where you and I might hesitate to tread. Play on the other side enough, and you tend to lose sight of the line. His vision can be blurry sometimes, but I like to think I'm the prescription he needs to see clearly. But these people that Scrooge knew in his everyday life, these familiar faces, weren't as familiar behind closed doors. Ever wonder what'll happen if he goes too far? I wonder about that constantly. Take me back to the car. I need to get back to the cave. He always considered himself a pillar of his community, an important man that people respected. It seemed that others didn't necessarily share that opinion. Some still had faith, though, along with time-honored smiles of folks who have the amazing ability to look in the bright side of things. Scrooge, on the other hand, wondered how they always seemed to fill a glass that was constantly empty. How they managed to keep the faith, the universal hope for change and change for the better. It had been a long time since Scrooge had felt that kind of hope. He had pretty much resigned himself to the fact that life is a never ending battle. The darkness of the world had forced him into the shadows, and the only way to combat the monsters was to become one himself. But the second spirit didn't feel the same. He seemed to be the source of infinite hope, and he radiated that hope with every moment and movement and word. This attitude was so foreign to Scrooge, it made him suspicious. Yep, you definitely need to see a doctor. Too bad they don't make body armor for your insides. See, it's like this. Sometimes when you work in the dirt, it gets tough after a while to clean yourself off. You get used to the filth. You even start to feel comfortable in it. Then you wake up one day and wonder why everyone else thinks you're dirty. Just lots of rest and fluids. In fact, I consider calling Alfred to come pick you up. You really shouldn't be drive. Car's got autopilot. Good night, Bruce. Feel better. And just like that, the big fella was gone. Weep, weep. Superman, you should be nearby to hear that.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was always like, he should have probably just turned around.
Exactly. Things were dark and quiet. And Scrooge wasn't sure if he was awake or sleeping. If he was still dreaming, maybe the old geezer would wake up in a bright new day. Then he remembered the night wasn't quite over yet. There would be 3 visitors. 3. You ever had a dream where you're falling and it really feels like you're falling, and when you wake yourself up, you can still feel the gravity pulling you down?
Yeah, I have actually had those dreams.
I have too.
They're terrifying.
Oh yeah, and there's some of the times where I'm actually literally starting to fall out of my bed.
Yeah.
I guess I rolled around so much, I'm like, ugh! but my blanket keeps me from falling, so I'm halfway down. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, especially when I was younger. I don't move around very much now, but like, especially when I was younger, I would have those dreams and wake up in a panic.
Oh yeah, but it'll be worse when you wake up and you're again something your blanket's keeping you off the ground, but you're still like ah.
Yep, exactly.
Ever wonder what happens if you can't wake yourself up? Is that the dream telling you your mind you're dying for real? See, I got a theory about this third visitor, and I like this theory here.
Okay,
You know,
wait, go back real quick. I want to I've always loved these POV shots
mm-hmm.
of him being taken away because we could see it from any other angle and understand it, but
Yeah,
this tries to put you in the headspace of Batman, and I
I,
love the way this is done.
I love it too. I love it so much. The old man painted the guy out to be the scariest thing you ever laid eyes on. And black cloak, face always covered in shadows, blah blah blah. Now Pop loved to take a bit of creative license with things. He had what Ma liked to call a subjective relationship with the truth. He also loved to talk. Hell, he talked so much that all the characters in the stories blabbered as much as he did.
I feel like there's so many people that have a subjective relationship with the truth.
Agreed.
I love
What
that line.
I do too. What never sat right with me with the last part of the story was the fact that the last visitor never once spoke a word to Scrooge. Call me cautious, but if it was me and some evil looking cat shows up out of nowhere, points his finger at a creepy cemetery, and I follow him inside, I'd have to be off my meds. It's like those stupid kids in the horror movies who always open up the closed door to look inside, like they're not expecting some chainsaw wielding maniac to try and chop them in two. No thanks. It's going to take one charming spirit of death with a silver tongue to convince me to follow him to the grave, not some freaky faceless mute. That's when I realized there was no third visitor. Some people start hallucinating when they're about to die. In my book, if you're chasing beautiful women across rooftops and flying around with big, colorful men that glow, something's rotten in Denmark. Let's face it, Scrooge wasn't exactly a spring chicken. Aside from the years, we're talking about a guy with some serious anger management and stress issues. Even
Yeah.
the heartless can have a heart attack, right? Something upset and something not someone came knocking that night. All Scrooge was following in his dream. I like the idea that because there was always a notion that Scrooge would have died that night in some
Yes.
versions of A Christmas Carol. To have it be that it was all could possibly be an hallucination from having a heart attack, but the fact that he came through the other side a better man, I like that interpretation.
I do too. I don't like Joker's lips in this.
I
They're
do
so
not.
creepy.
I
It's
do
so
not.
gross.
That's one of the few things I do not like about Lieber May use Joker is the lips. I get
Yeah.
he's going for the rictus grin.
Yeah, but
Heath Ledger, he ain't.
yeah.
And he wasn't waking up. Oh, again, that's just so amazing. Very Alex Ross here.
Yes.
I think everybody wants to believe they'll be remembered after they check out. I also think everybody likes to believe life can't go on without them, but that just ain't the truth. No way to stop the future. Jesus, no one was only, you're gonna kill me, man. That'll only be decreasing the surplus population. No, please, I got it good. Scum, you people never cease to amaze me. Ah, you're too young to be thinking about this kind of stuff now, but trust me, most men want to leave the world a better place than they found it. They want to feel like they made a difference being someone. Justice comes at a price. Everyone wants to be a Cadillac. No one wants to be an old junker. All Scrooge's life, he had probably thought he was a caddy. But great paint job, powerful engine, smooth ride. I think when all was said and done, when it came down to the 0 hour, all Scrooge knew that he would be remembered as the junker. You know, the one that used to break down on you all the time. You never forget that and get what a pain in the neck it was. People don't remember that car when it was, oh, wait, I'm reading the wrong order. Powerful ride. People don't remember that car when it was brand spanking new. They just remember having to jump start it every day. Oh nope, I'm going the right order. I am. So I sometimes I don't like when you text that sometimes you have to figure out which way it's going.
Yeah, I get it.
And Scrooge had lived his life as a man who could turn you on and turn on you at any moment, leave you stranded or hurt. He'd been the type of man that people only feared that he'd break down on them again. Uh, the jury, find the defendant guilty of aiding and abetting a known criminal and criminal obstruction of justice. I think of and as those clammy hands pushed down Scrooge's chest, he saw about the future for the first time and realized the only legacy he would leave behind is pain. Harboring a known fugitive, malfeasance in office, and accessory. I hereby sentence you to a term no less than 30 years to be served in Gotham State Penitentiary without the possibility of parole. Anyone who had ever tried to get close to him was punished for it. Why would they care if he bit the dust? Why would it make any difference to them at all if they made no difference to him in the end? He would die, and his big expensive house full of stuff could be empty and cold. Here we have this fine painting by Sir Montgomery Whitgift in 1874 titled "Summer in Venice," valued at 70,000. We start the building at 40,000. No friend left to care that he was gone. Do we have 40,000? Yes, wonderful. How about 42,000? Yes, 42,000 from the lovely lady in the front row. 45,000? No one to miss him or mourn him. They say you're born alone and you die alone. Here lies a bat. He died boring and predictable, and nobody loved him. Typical Joker.
I know.
Even if that's true, wouldn't you want to be? If you had the chance to change, to get it right, would you fight for it? Sometimes it takes dying to teach a fella how to live.
I love it.
Yep. In Scrooge's case, it took a real doozy of a night to make him realize this. He can call it a near-death experience. I call it a wake-up call. His clock was ticking, and if he was going to get the message, he would need to listen up quick. See, with some guys, all you need to whisper in their ear, "Santa, that you?" Other guys, and old Scrooge was definitely one of the other guys. Ho, ho, ho! They need to be hit upside the head with a baseball bat. The night Scrooge got it, and got it good. I know. You were expecting the big guy in red. If it's all the same, though, I have a bag of presents, too. What do you say, big guy? Want to know what I got for you and your old man? I can't. Oh, Jesus, I can't. Oh, Christ. Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. Ever play Clue? I love that game. Colonel Mustard. What a name. So what say we play a little Daddy? Yeah, get your old man out here. He should play too. He knows all about mysteries. It wasn't just a new perspective on things. I want him to solve the mystery of my missing moolah. Ha! Come on, Bobby. Hey, this game sucks with just two people. What do you want, kid? Maybe I'll leave the little guy here the lead pipe. He could be Miss Scarlet. Don't you touch my son. Come on, Bobby boy. It was a second chance, a chance to make things right. You know, there's no baseball in Clue. To be the good guy for once. Whoosh! Play fair. How are we ever going to solve the mystery of my missing buddy if you're missing half your face? My old man told me the story. He said that Scroogey finally grew a conscience. Stop, mister, please. He didn't want the people around him to suffer because of mistakes he made in his life. I like to think there were larger forces at work, though. Question: who killed Bob? But please, I panicked. The Batman was there. I win. I killed Bob in the kitchen with the revolver. I believe a man can change, but change is such a powerful thing, such a big idea that I gotta believe there's no more to it than just making a choice. No, please, no. See, outside forces have to come into play. Something elemental. It wasn't just the fear of dying. It was the hope he could have have a better death. You got to make the leap. Take the chance that you'll fail, but go down trying anyway. After a lifetime of hurting and bullying people, making people afraid of him, all Scrooge had the chance to make sure that, and when he finally did check out, when all was said and done, people would remember that he had the chance to die and to die as a villain, but went out a hero. You want to threaten me? You want to threaten my son? Now who's the clown, huh? Now who wants to play games? Oh, Bobby boy, that's the way to do it. Why don't I show you how to play? Click. Come on, show me. I will. Yeah, let her rip. No, you're not a criminal. Show your son the kind of man you are. The kind of man they could respect without fear. Someone they could believe in. Show him what a hero is. Trouble is, realizing all this stuff's only the first step. Boring. Neither of you know how to have a good time. If you want to walk the walk, well, you know how the rest of it goes. Oh, just look at all this. All Scroogey was lucky to wake up that next morning, and he knew it. He felt like he had gotten out of the joint after a long stint, like a free man. There were people to see and things to do, promises to be made and kept. And just like an old con, he wanted to go do it all on the first day. The first person on the list was Bob. He figured it was only right. After all, he had always treated the poor guy like dirt. Today, though, he figured it was high time to pay him back. A raise, benefits, PTO, 401k, the works. Scrooge made the rounds that day. Old friends, business associates, pretty much anyone whose life had previously made miserable. He wanted to show them, be the guy who can set things straight, the guy who could they could depend on. Most of them were shocked at this new Scrooge they were seeing. Like I told you at the beginning, change ain't exactly easy to believe in. But I guess it's easier to swallow than 3 ghosts. The old man said he liked the story so much because it had a happy ending. He said in real life, happy endings are like unicorns. I asked him if he believed it was true, or if he thought it was some yarn someone made up to get their kid to fall asleep. He told me it didn't really matter if it was true. It was the story. It was what the story meant that was important. I don't know, kid. What do you think? What's the moral of the story?
It's so good.
It is. It is. And the fact is, it was true in a way.
Right.
Not a 1-for-1 adaptation, but this is why I compared it to Scrooged. It's very much following that same mindset, but in this case, it's even less connected to the Christmas Carol, like, oh, there are ghosts and everything. No, it's very Batman, but very without, but following the trappings. It's following the trappings of Christmas Carol, not the story.
And it's in the story itself, the way it's written is really well done. It's told from somebody telling the story about this person and learning all about them. And honestly, like,
yeah, this
one, like, I don't believe a whole lot of people can change, but I love the idea of change. I love the idea of people being better. And this story always gets me.
Now, I think the only way it could work is if the person was a better person beforehand. Something that they can go back to.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if they were never a good person, there ain't no changing them. There ain't no changing them at all.
For sure. If they were never a decent person, they're not gonna be able to change. And I don't think a lot of people change anyways, but it's possible.
But it worked for Batman because Batman has changed, radically so at times.
Right.
But yeah, but seriously, this is such an amazing story and a beautiful Christmas story to tell.
I love it.
And that it's probably one of the more unique Christmas Carol type of stories where, again, you could strip out all those narrations and still have a decent Batman story. You'd have to trim stuff out, obviously, but having that narration of the Christmas Carol over it all, it spells it out for you, but at the same time, it still tells it in a good way. And it's because he's telling it from his own perspective of the tale. It's not like he's actually reading it page to page. He's reminiscing of it.
And it's not a long read.
No.
So you could read it on Christmas Eve and still, like, the art is for me, the art takes me longer to go through because I'm looking at all the different little details that Libra Mayhew puts in, especially like those cave area and then the parts with Selena. Yeah. There's so much good, like, even it seems like I read this every year, but I still find something new.
Yep. Again, there's like a few quibbles they have, mostly in how far Batman goes, but at the same time, it's the point of the story.
Right, exactly. He needs to go far so he can come back.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh
and the
boy.
POV shots, those are so good. Like, I
Yeah.
could talk so much about this book. It's incredible.
I never realized about Bob crying as he was swinging at him. It's like that just tells you the desperation in him.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
I never noticed that until now
Yeah,
that he had all those
and he's
tears in his eyes.
crying in the when because he's scared. He's
Yeah, he's
terrified,
scared.
but that's his son.
Exactly. It's like, don't you touch my son. It's like, again, he's a good man that was just on a bad path.
Yes, exactly. And
Oh, but
that
yeah,
shows the nuance.
exactly. It definitely shows it. It's like he's not exactly Bob Cratchit, but at the same time, he's not exactly, you know. And also, just the whole notion of like selling off the stuff at the Wayne estate. That's what happened to Scrooge's estate.
Is it?
In some versions, yes, people came to his house and started selling off his
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Or you had
Okay.
people broke into his place and started then you're like, here, I got this. Like this is a blanket he slept in. Oh, it's still warm. Things like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, but I also realized, have it be that these were people who kind of were inspired by Batman, but they're attacking any person.
Yes.
Oh, geez, one of them's wearing Catwoman's cowl.
Yeah, and then I know there's a Joker one too.
Oh yeah, right there.
Yep.
Yeah, these Batman versus the Jokers.
Like
Again,
a gang war type thing.
like I said, the only bit that made me cringe was him saying to Batman about the surplus criminal population. That I felt like, really?
And then obviously Superman not hearing
The explosion.
but it
You need it for the
has to be.
story.
Yeah.
Oh look! Oh, just look at that.
I know, it's so sweet. And I love the way the little boy's drawn, like at the beginning with his little pouty lip, and it's so good.
Yeah, although there was one image from him that kind of creeped me out. Before I get there, I say Selina's the best part of this, in my opinion.
She looks incredible. I love the combat boots and everything.
It kind of reminds me of the Darwin Cook outfit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just that part there. Virgin's trying to be so sexual towards him,
She's trying to get him going.
but he's not having it.
Yep.
But hold on, let me get to it because there was one. Oh geez, Chase's ghost was interesting.
It's so well done.
It is, but let me get back to it. That face there.
Oh yeah, I can see it. He's
That's what-
trying to show excitement, but it didn't work out so well.
No, it didn't. That's the creepiest face in the whole book. It's like, Jesus, kid.
Yeah.
But he is all like from that, except for that one, all the other ones are good. Especially he had the pouty lip.
I know, it's so sweet. Like he's on the verge of crying.
Yep. And again, Bob's a good man who's just in a rough spot, and I love that.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was Batman Noel. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, because I am posting this one on Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And yeah, hey, this is better than my videos last year where I did World War Hulk because it was red and green. You had Red Hulk and Green Hulk.
And there you go, though. It still works.
That was a bit of a stretch, but here I'm having Claus, I'm having this video, and I'm going to be having, hopefully with Foxy and Steph Nerd, The Last Christmas.
Awesome.
Which is basically Santa during the zombie apocalypse.
That's awesome.
So, get this, artwork by Rick Remender. Yeah, turns out Rick Remender's an artist.
Oh, I thought he just did
writing. I know,
yeah.
I thought so too, but no, he also does artwork. It's like, oh. But yeah, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you guys later.
Bye.